Hey y'all, welcome to the Stories That Sparkle Discoball Tour Docu-series. This is a bit of an interlude, not my usual hijinks and chicanery of me running around some part of the Western United States. I hit a bit of a wall with this docu-series, so I thought I'd make this part of that and share just a little bit that my intention was to put out content around my visit to Santa Fe and visiting the 3 different places where I lived during the 4 years that I lived there. And that's when I hit a wall with all of this. It was just felt too vulnerable, too unsafe. I'm a survivor. That's part of my story. It's not all of my story, but what I realized is that, the vehicle of storytelling matters. And it's one thing for me to write the story. It's one thing for me to talk about the story without video. It's a whole other thing when the 3 things are all combined. So, I hit a bit of a wall and was just feel stuck, not sure how to navigate around that or with that. So I just thought I'd go right through it and address it head on here as part of the docu-series, because to me, really the docu-series is evolving for me personally, but certainly it's the story behind the story or other people's stories. It's my story of this whole journey, which is far bigger and far wider than the road trip itself. But even now, months later, 4 months later, almost 3 months later, things are coming up within me around that Discoball tour and what happened during that time. So as I rewatch a lot of that footage, I'm either in a very different place from that, or I was in a different place then than I am now with certain things. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. This is the process. So anyway, this week's episode of the podcast is a lot in part about this whole thing of, sometimes our stories are just not baked yet and they're not ready to be out in the world in a certain kind of way. So my guest, Deborah, and we talk about that. I did record with her while I was in Santa Fe, and we scrapped that conversation and re-recorded on Zoom on New Year's Day, which is the one that's coming out this week. We came to that conclusion because she felt uncomfortable with the story that she did share with me that day in Santa Fe, being out there in this way. She just wasn't ready for that to be the case. And so I respect that. That's one of the things. It's one of the first things I tell anyone who wants to record with me is I'm willing to do that. And I was, of course, willing to honor her request. And I'm really grateful that she asked for what she needed, because it gave me permission, it turns out, to give that kind of care to myself, which is why I opted, in great part, sitting with that, I opted it's one of the reasons in great part that I opted not to put out the content of me visiting the different places I lived when I was in Santa Fe. So, I have ideas for that content. I do want to put it together some way, somehow. I think I need a little help with that before I feel ready to do that. But first things first, I need to feel safe and comfortable within myself before I go there. So it's interesting to me because I have this, this sense of not shame, but something in terms of, once it does come out, people are going to be like, that's like a total nothing burger, lady. And it might be by then, it might be for me too. But right now it does not feel like a nothing burger. So I'm honoring that and doing this instead. So anyway, I'm really grateful for you being here and watching the Discoball Tour Docu-series, watching along. And as we move through the second half of that trip, I'll have more of the, footage of what was going on in real time at the time. But just thought I'd make this little interlude and share a little bit about my process. And All right, so it's Saturday, September 13th. It's literally the halfway mark of my trip. Yesterday, I just I spent time with Deborah, my writing coach, for a year and a half, and we've now decided that if we are officially friends. So that's been awesome. We recorded an episode of the podcast. I spent time with my dear friend Karen. We went to Ojo Santa Fe and soaked in tubs and things, and now I'm spending today hiking through the neighborhood of where I'm staying. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing because I feel like some things have come up, partly because I was here during September 11th, 2 days ago. The whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, and it just has been feeling very heavy. Santa Fe and I have this conflicted that view. Santa Fe and I have this sort of thing, I don't know that Santa Fe, the energy of this place loves me, but we've had a different exchange this time, and I don't know that I would want to live here, but I'm happy to come visit. I love the people I love here. They're really special to me, so that's really important, and I want to maintain those relationships in the future and do better about coming to visit them and see them and spend time. It has been a little hectic. I haven't been sleeping a lot. I've been sleeping well, just not a lot of hours, so I can feel like it's adding up. The deficit is adding up. So just being mindful of that. So that's why I'm taking a walk today to ground, but also to move and circulate and get my energy flowing and, get tired and maybe sleep in a little bit tomorrow. So or sleep longer, get to bed earlier, sleep longer, that kind of thing. So anyway, it's been a surprise to me how not charged up I feel here in terms of the past. It makes me feel like, I've really processed a lot of that. I'm sure, as I debrief with myself, some of the things that maybe can't come up right now because I'm in semi-work mode will emerge, and I can work through them, and maybe not. I don't need to look for problems. I was talking about this yesterday with Deborah. We were talking about the wheel of suffering and how, we may pop in there, but we can choose whether or not we stay there. And sometimes there's a pleasure in being in the negativity, and I'm finding increasingly, which is great, that I'm not getting a lot of pleasure out of the negativity. My God, it's gorgeous. I'm feeling a lot more like, I love much more to live in the joy and find greater pleasure there. So anyway, this is halfway mark. All right, so that's us all getting caught up again. I just rewatching myself in early January talk about this pause. What I didn't mention explicitly was, yes, I'm a survivor of domestic violence and abuse. So that's some of what came up in more detail in that footage of the 3 places I visited while I was in Santa Fe, where I used to live when I lived there for 4 years. So when that happened, and I recognized this week holding together and did some work in my somatic practice to release, not so much that specifically, but the blocks that I have been, just what's been holding me back. So yay for that, because I am re-entering this universe of completing the docu-series for the Discoball Tour. Next up will be getting to Denver and Nebraska. Probably combine those 2 things, because that's where I am at with the episodes of the podcast. 1 episode from Nebraska is already out. The next one comes out next week. I did spend some time today to get back into the swing of things, pinning out the route that I took Oh my gosh. I was like, oh wow, yeah, that was a lot. I went a very large way. And also there were 2 other trips earlier in the summer. I went to Connecticut and a part of upstate New York, and then also Atlanta. So as sort of like trial runs for some of this. So yeah, it makes me feel a little bit less hard on myself because it's been a lot. Glad I took the pause. I'm also glad to be back and reinvigorated and reminding myself of the vision of all of this and the breadth of it all. So I'm gonna pick things back up on my way from Santa Fe to Denver and then heading back east into Nebraska. That's really like the 3rd week of the Discoball tour. Lots of movement and beautiful wide open spaces. So I'm really excited to share that here, and just a lot of it will just be letting nature and the environment and the beautiful surroundings speak for themselves. Thanks again for being here. I hope you hang out. I hope you continue to be here. I hope you keep up with the new episodes as they come out. And yeah, let's see what happens next. Mwah. So I added a few more 2 separate trips that I did that were not part of the official Discoball tour, but warm-ups for that. So I went to Atlanta, did a bunch there, and then I've been up to the New York, Connecticut area and did some there.